It's a beautiful day on earth and another day of Joseph, did you know? And with me today is Mr. Ben. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having me.
I am very excited. I told him I've either had like a lot of coffee and made it way too strong this morning, or I've got some soapbox issues going on because I am fired up today. Maybe it's just because I knew you were gonna have this conversation. I don't know. We'll see how it ends up. But tell the world a little bit about who Ben is.
Sure. Let's see. I've done a variety of different things. Right now, I host a podcast called the Get Up Nation podcast. It is upon creating resilience for individuals, societies, communities, and organizations. I have a lot of service in my background. So one thing that has been a consistent theme for me is helping people get up. And basically, you can see behind me here, if I can move the right way here, it's a little.
Yeah.
It's
I do that all the time.
But it's a book about Adam Greenberg, a professional baseball player. His first pitch that he saw in the major leagues actually struck him in the back of the head, causing basically a traumatic brain injury, 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Wow. And it was about his experience of having that injury after ascending, the ranks to get all the way to Major League Baseball. And then his journey of struggle and hardship and perseverance to get back into the major leagues. One of the most unique stories in baseball. I had the honor of helping Adam tell with the book that we wrote, Get Up, The Art of Perseverance. But all of that, like I said, it comes out of all the experiences that I've had serving others. So I know you have, veterans love your show and are often highlighted. Most all your guests, my understanding, are veterans or those who have, served in that capacity. So I served in the United States Army after 9/11. On the morning of 9/11, my brother worked in a building across from the trade towers. He called me up that morning and said, "Get your TV on. I'm okay, but I'll call you when I can." And so he has a very amazing story about the day of 9/11. And about that time, I had been, thinking about serving in the military. It was something that I always thought about doing, and I was starting to get a little bit older. And I decided, now's the time to do that, because right after 9/11, I wanted to contribute to safety to our country. I wanted to make the world a safer place. I wanted to prevent terror attacks from happening on our soil. So I joined. I was a combat medic, served and then I got, whenever they were asking for training, extra training, I'd always raise my hand. I got connected with the military police unit who's doing combat support operations. And then they asked me if I wanted to wear both hats. And I said, sure, send me to training. So I got trained. I did all sorts of things, whether it's combat medic, I got advanced nursing training, I got military police training. I did emergency operations for the state of Wisconsin. Once I was stateside for a year. So I just kind of was like, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. The world is a very dangerous place. I want to help. I want to be part of the solution. So that's basically my background.
Talk about absolutely, I want to serve. And then you spew out, like you verbal vomit, like this way, putting your money where your mouth is. That is true. And Travis is watching, and Travis is the one that connected us. So
yeah, Travis.
Yeah, Travis, a cool dude. Ben is a very cool dude. And I do have to give a quick shout out to Russell too.
Oh yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for connecting us. I'm having a great time here. Honored to be on these shows with Danny and with you, Travis. A lot of good things ahead. So great to connect with amazing people. Happy to be here.
We were talking about that earlier, about full collaboration and what that means. And it means taking your ego outside of it and actually serving and walking away.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine I can't even imagine actually being a combat vet. I have no idea what that's like. Or being a medic, I can't, my husband had surgery and I'm trying to help him. I'm like, okay, I obviously don't have it in my blood to do that. Yeah. What made you pick that?
Well, I guess, I was interested in the medical side of things. And I was pretty young at the time. So it was like, well, this is a great beginning as far as a career path. There's so many different things you can do with medical. And, I just, like I said, I want to be basically the people that I was meeting in the military were my heroes. I was serving around like selfless people who were putting their lives on the line, who were signing up voluntarily to go, knowing what they're getting into, to go overseas, knowing that they're facing combat, that anybody who joined after 9/11 knew, you're going to see something, you're going to go. And so I was just serving, the people that I was walking side by side with were my heroes. And so I was like, if I can do anything to save them, help heal them, help prevent them or their families from losing them, then that's what I want to do. And so that was the basis for it. And then, like I said, there's all the other training, but yeah, it was something where, man, these are amazing, selfless people. Like you were saying, the ego can be around being in a room with just the ego-driven stuff. It's just so toxic. It's so poisonous. I would any day of the week. I don't care what it is. I'd rather be talking with people who are completely egoless, because then we get somewhere. Then we have meaningful conversations. Then we create true change and innovation, because we don't have to tiptoe around each other. Who's going to get upset? Who's this, that? Like, you can just get after it, and you can create so many powerful things. And then, like you said, you just walk away, and after that time, you will always carry with you that conversation, that connection, that fond memory of that person in that moment. And so, like I said, the way, we were talking about this, is the way I view it is this is just a conversation, one of many to be had as we go out there, and like Travis and you and the people that we're connecting with, continuing our service to make this nation the finest place that we could make it be. And for those who have died for this country, the way I look at that is we at least owe them that those who have survived it, those who have had the great gift and honor of returning home, we owe it to those who gave it all, and those families, those Gold Star families that gave, their loved one to this nation, to make this nation the finest place it can be, the most thriving, vibrant, resilient, compassionate, empathetic nation that the earth has ever seen. There's my soapbox. So now we got some soapbox time. That's how I look at it.
I'm a sharer. But I was thinking when you were talking, what made me, a question that kind of came up is seeing it on the side that you saw it as the medic. At any point, could you feel it fuel your fire even more, even though it had to have been scary? I mean, I would assume, or are you just like in such a zone that you don't really feel the fear part of it, but it burns even deeper,
Yeah, this is something I love to talk about, because it's very important when we talk about post-traumatic stress, and there's such a suicide rate with veterans that are dealing with everything. And basically, we were made into a police force, for the world for a while, and a lot of service members were, driving around, and it was a lot of the experience was just driving around hoping that the road is not going to explode under them. And so, that's the perfect pairing for PTSD or post-traumatic stress, because it's a feeling of helplessness and it's a feeling of terror or horror, so you're driving around, you're confronted with this daily, every day. You load up, you gear up, you take your weapons with you, and you go out there, and you are there to do your mission. And if the road explodes under you, then you have to make peace with the fact that, that's a reality, and tons of people experience that. And so that leads to that hypervigilance afterwards, or, they show you the movies all the time. They say, look for this and look for that. And this is the, common things that the enemy is doing at the given time. But there's really, it's a crapshoot. Basically, it's who knows if it's in an animal on the side of the road, if it's in a box, if it's, underground, if it's under fresh dirt. When you drive down the road, basically every 5 feet, you have something that could be an IED. So you have these people who are set up to experience that post-traumatic stress, and you're confronted with your own mortality. I remember I was rolling. I had a grenade launcher on my rifle, and so I had a crate of grenades, and they're under my seat in the vehicle that we were in. So I was like, well, if something explodes under us, like I'm done anyway, because I'm sitting on a crate of grenades.
Literally toast.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's going to be over. And I don't mean to make light of it for those who have experienced that. There are so many tremendous injuries, but a part of that, is that sense of humor. Like, you got to have a sense of humor. You got to make peace with the fact that I didn't expect to come home. So I just figured I never even thought about, post-military benefits or veterans or veteran affairs hospitals or GI Bill benefits or anything like that. I was just there to serve. And so when I kind of came home, I'm like, well, oh, I'm still here. Like, okay, well, now what do I do? And that kind of speaks to transition and everything
Yeah.
like that. But it is definitely, a very powerful experience of putting yourself out there in that way, and how I just have so much respect for any veteran and beyond that, their families too, who had to sit for a year at a time, or maybe multiple deployments for years at a time, not knowing, any day
Yeah.
that knock could come on your door. And
Mhm.
and so the amount of sacrifice and the amount of suffering that has happened at that, really want to be an encouragement to people who have volunteered to serve in that way, families who have served alongside their veteran, like you. I know that like you're married to a veteran.
No, I'm the mother.
Oh, you're the mother. I thought you're. Oh,
Who
that's.
never.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the mom. I'm the mom of a Marine. I'm a Marine mom.
That's right. I'm sorry. Yep.
That
And
drives me.
but you know that cost too. You're taking part in that sacrifice, and you're experiencing that sacrifice as well. And you're seeing someone you love beyond words, going to bravely dedicate themselves to this, and so all my respect is to that. This is a group that needs to be there for each other. We need to
Yeah.
listen to each other's stories. We need to share our pain with each other, and we need to
And
heal and
talk
grow.
about that pain for a second, because Travis brought it up. He's like, you go to a dark place to cope. And
Yeah.
it's a natural place to go. You kind of have to go through the ride of it. Can you talk about that? Because now you're here, you're serving on the other side, but I'm
Yeah.
sure you just didn't walk out and you were like, oh, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a transition for sure. It's and it continues to happen. I mean, and this is really interesting. Like on my show, talking with like cancer survivors, or people who have been through traumatic injuries, or have been through child abuse or sexual assault, or these types of situations where we are confronted with a horrible reality and experience that our body and minds, we don't want to experience. This is not. It's an overwhelming, horrible experience, oftentimes paired with helplessness, a sense of,
right.
where we're rolling and the mission gets done, and and so be it. If I don't come back today, then
Mhm.
so be it. You are grappled, you're confronted with your mortality.
Yeah.
And then it's what you do with that kind of sets the foundation for what happens in your future, because it's a very bizarre reality to be alive and to know that we live for a certain amount of time, and then our time is over, and that change happens to all of us. um, but it's volunteering to potentially do that early for
Yeah.
others who are living. So it's very interesting process.
It varies. And, I'm thinking, do you think that people can understand the trauma that is related when you are like, you've been, sexually offended, or you've been abused, or you've gone through that? As a whole in society, we can comprehend and understand that better and have tools and resources available because of that understanding better than we do from on the military side of it.
Yes, this I love that you brought that up, because that is it's a great point. And this, I really want your audience to hear this, especially if you have people in your audience who are dealing with post-traumatic stress, or who are struggling with your transition from the military to the civilian world. This is a profound opportunity when it comes to resilience. When we focus on resilience, and what I do with my organization is we help people see the trauma or the adversity that they've experienced, and then we start to teach them where to find the opportunities in that. And so it what it does is it takes away the sting. It takes away the sense. First of all, it connects you with people, other people who have experienced similar things. So it takes you out of the isolation that makes you feel like, am I the only one? And it removes that isolation. So then you can relax a little bit more, and you can de-stress a little bit more, because you know that your experience is not unique, that it's not just that God hates you or something like that. It's just that this has happened. and that it's happened to other people too, and you may be having similar symptoms, and there are answers that you can find together. So then you start buddying up with people, then you start connecting with other people, and you find then those similar experiences. Now, not everybody is going to understand the details of everyone's experience, and certainly we need to validate each person's experience and honor their feelings and emotions as they seek to deal with whatever happened to them. But there are similarities. So somebody who has dealt with, I may not have had any military sexual trauma in my life. I may not have been sexually assaulted, but I do have somewhat of an experience of knowing a sense of helplessness and a sense of terror. So we may, showing everybody the respect to what they've experienced, but at the same time, there are similarities there. And we talked about brain scans where combat veterans and hypervigilance is often the same kind of brain patterns that happen to abused children, because abused children who are physically abused are frequently on high alert, right? And so kids that COVID and things like that are in these homes where, or domestic violence, these violent situations where people experience this heightened alertness, and then you get the chronic stress when people just stay in that mode, right? It's just like what combat veterans are over there on a high alert, looking for threats, scanning for every little thing, because in a sense of that high alert and hypervigilance, just like victims of various crimes from violence. So now, once we have articulated that, the beautiful thing that we can do is, by recognizing that, just as you said, look at the wave of healing that can come out of that. You see all the people that, may not be unified or may not see a similarity in their lives. Can you imagine what veterans can do to lead this? Like, veterans are known to be leaders and innovators and hard chargers and hard workers, right? What if combat veterans, especially those who have suffered from post-traumatic stress, suddenly realize the power that has given them to impact not only our nation, but the entire world, that they have the ability to empathize with military sexual trauma survivors, human trafficking survivors, domestic violence survivors, cancer survivors, anybody who's injured or abused children. Can you imagine the profound programs that we're building at Get Up Nation when we hit the streets and combat veterans are able to speak into the lives of abused children who finally sense a place of security and safety, and veterans no longer feel like, well, I'm just worthless and I'm going to take my own life, because you know what? I'm impacting the lives of children in the nation I serve for. And so that,
no better way than giving your leadership skills and then creating what America so needs. We need that generational learning. We need that generational leadership, and what better people to do it than the people that are willing to put their life on the line.
That's right.
Put that action into place.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the thing. And it's so beautiful, because all the separation that we have and all the different ways that people are hating on each other, we can all find common ground and unity. Every race, every gender, every group, we can all be there for each other and truly make this nation a free-for-all, a wide open reality of thriving, no matter what the challenge is. If we're emotionally intelligent, if we relate to each other in this way. So anybody out there, if you are a veteran and you are thinking about, if you deal with suicidal ideation, if you deal with all the stress and overwhelm and are frustrated with different mental health systems that you've dealt with, please get the help that you need, but also recognize that the suffering that you may be experiencing could be the gateway into your most profound positive impact that you could have ever dreamed, because you having those experiences can become something really, really beautiful and profound. And that's what we're trying to do here at Get Up Nation. We're getting up, and just honored to be here with you, Danny, to share it with your network. But so that's it.
I love it. I love your passion behind it. I just had to keep all my questions, because you can feel it. And this is the second time in 5 days I've had a conversation about the growth that comes out of your pain, but you have to let yourself kind of go through that and recognize it, because once you recognize it, then you recognize your strength, and now you can do something with it.
Right.
Now you put the power back into you, where we all have such amazing power inside of us. And it is my personal opinion that our military and our veterans have just slightly more enhanced superpower than the average person, because they're not. I'm sorry, but if you're not afraid to take that step, that warrior step,
That's right.
like that is a little bit more of a different sauce of power than the average person, which means you have a unique perspective and a great gift, because
That-
not everybody has it.
That's right. Yeah, anybody who's brave enough to sign up. I mean, it's a volunteer military. This is a volunteer military. You got people who are signing up, for the right reasons, and for the most part, for the right reason. You got people who are volunteering to put their life on the line to be part of something bigger than themselves, and they're finding that, and they find that there. They find the camaraderie. They find the connection, and it's not perfect. It's certainly, it's not perfect, but. And we need to make sure that the systems in the military, truly value the gift that is. That
Yeah.
basically, when someone signs up to join the military, they are doing an incredibly brave thing, and they need to be honored. And we need to get mental health treatment to help people deal, and we need to prevent military sexual assault. We need to, the horrendous things that have been coming out in the news about, soldiers that have been missing and have been murdered, and the suicide rate is tremendous. And so we have changes to make. We have improvements to make. But when it comes down to the people who sign on that line and do that, like they need to be honored more in our systems, and we need to have more mental health awareness during and by truly honoring what they're doing. We need to make these systems more healthy for them, and we need to make them more just. But at the same time, that's my ultimate respect is for those people who dared to do that, and their families who do that. And so it's just my honor every day to, like you're saying, is to work with them to heal the nation that we all love, to heal the world. Like I said, I thought I was going to be dead a long time ago. Right now, I'm just like, every day is a gift. I have such gratitude. I don't know why I'm still here. But I am here. And so I'm going to make the best of it, because I won't always be here. So I have this opportunity now, and we have COVID now. You have opportunity with internet technology to do amazing good. And so here we are sharing on your show some of the greatest things that people can do to stay alive, to stay thriving, to stay impactful, and to create lives that will create legacies that last, generations beyond this moment.
Yes. There's two things. One is we can't become complacent in life. We can't be complacent in our military. We can't be complacent in our jobs, in our relationships, and who we are. That complacency causes horrific things.
Right.
So staying vigilant and always moving forward is a big step to that, because we are humans.
Right.
We are humans, and there's good and evil in this world. So put that out there. But Jason has a good point. Before I ask you my last question, he says, I find a lot of veterans don't want to talk about it. What do you do to encourage them?
Sure. And that I wouldn't push it. I would just be, if you're interested in being supportive of a veteran, or if you have a parent or, a family member that isn't very talkative about it, there can be a lot of pain there. So basically, if you can communicate, and sometimes it's very hard, because those who are dealing with pain, they put a lot of walls up, right? And so they put a lot of walls up, and it's hard to earn their trust oftentimes, because they are hurt. And so if you care about that person, and you're trying to be supportive or caring to that person, and you encounter those walls, don't take them personal, and don't draw back. Be brave enough to stay there and say, even if those walls come up, or something like that, just give it time and be consistent. And just, whether it's bringing them food to hang out, or a morning coffee, just be that, like, annoying helpful. That's like wonderful. It's like that wonderful, annoying helpful. It's so great. I highly recommend it when you're trying to build rapport with somebody, is be persistent and be consistent. Don't push, but just let them know that you're consistent, and that you want relationship with them, and it'll come in time. But it's an investment of your time and your energy, and it will pay off. It may just take a while. But
I can see a twinkle in your eye, so I know you have stories behind that, because when there's a little story twinkle there. But we have gone over time. I always go over time. I don't know why I don't make the show longer, but nope, I stick to my guns. My last question of the day for you, and I ask that you answer it openly and honestly, no matter how silly it might sound to you. What does love mean to you right now in this moment, Ben?
Right. I think that's the most important question anybody can ask. I love that question. I love that you asked that question because that's what everything is about. And I'd like to say this, especially in a show here that deals with veterans. We talk about valor. We talk about bravery. We talk about courage. We talk about Medal of Honor winners. We talk about people who sacrifice for others. All of that in its purest form is love. And so it is not like purely a feminine concept to love. It is for men who think that love is soft, or men or who have been taught not to, not to share your emotions or shut off your emotions. We're taught that to be tough is everything. The toughest men and women are those who love. Those are the ones that are in it forever. Those are the ones that when it's tiring, when it's cold, when it's difficult, when it's frustrating, they stay because
Yeah.
they're not giving up, because it's worth it. And there's nothing greater than love. And if we seek to live a life of love, we will truly be successful. It is the truest success. And so, for anybody out there who's ever been sold the lie, especially men, that love is just a soft concept, you're wrong. It's the hardest concept of all. And it is the most worthwhile concept of all. And I would encourage you to fill your life with it as much as you can. It'll bring you back.
Yeah, I feel that. I
Yeah.
feel that. Ben, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your soul, not just here on the Dose of Did You Know, but every day doing what you do and getting past your slump, your dark place to now give such a light and be a light in so many people. So thank you, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you for your amazing show. I had a great time here. All the listeners out there, check it out, Get Up Nation. You'll hear more from me and Danny in the years to come. So good thing.
Yes,
Thank you, Dan.
absolutely. And everybody out there, until next time, love hard, love true, and love proactive. We will see you next time. Bye bye.